Hi, Sari here again from Destiny Palmistry. Glad to have you back for lesson 2 on first impressions. We are going to be talking about the shape of the hand so you can get a first impression of the character when somebody, say, waves to you, goodbye or hello, and you can just quickly glance at the shape of their hand. And I've got some pictures to show you. We're going to describe all the different shapes, or 4 different shapes actually, the basics for now, otherwise we could be here all day. Anyway, a little bit about me, which I didn't tell you on the first video, and how I got into palmistry. So I was 11 years old, and that was in 1978. I went to my uncle's 40th birthday party, and he had a lady there reading hands. She was doing it, you know, as entertainment for the party. And of course I was interested, so I asked her to look at my hand, and she at first said, oh, you're too young, your hand's going to change, etc. But I said, oh, well, tell me something anyway. So she did. She looked at it, and what she said was so interesting to me. I never forgot it. And by the time I left high school, I was studying the books at libraries. Back then we didn't have computers, so I was studying every book I could get my hands on, and I started reading other people's hands. So pretty much very keen interest since I was 18. So that's I'm 50 now. It's 32 years of passionate learning, and I'm still learning. You can never stop learning about palmistry. It's one of those things. Every time I see a hand, I see something different, and I question about many new aspects of the hand all the time. And that's what's so cool about it, because you never ever get bored with it. So I love it. So today we are talking about the 4 different shapes. They're basic shapes. We can talk about them in square hand, long hand, rectangle hand, skinny hand, fat hand, but they do, a lot of palm readers, they do have given them names, so to categorize them. They use astrology. If you know anything about the horoscopes, they have categories: earth, fire, air, and water. So in palmistry we can use these 4 elements to describe the hand shape. So the first one, I know many people with this shape. It's the most basic square palm. My camera's reversed. Square palm, short fingers. So the hand overall looks very well balanced. Not overly wide hand, not overly long fingers. Everything looks quite balanced. And that is called the practical hand. And as well as being the practical hand, it's called the earth hand. So earth meaning down to earth person. So when you see, can you see that in the video? Do I swap it around? Yeah, so when you see this shape hand, that tells you straight away, being an earth hand, that they are down to earth. These people are practical, they're reliable, sensible, they're usually quite patient, they're honest, they're helpful, they love animals, nature, being outdoors. They're a good organizer. I know a couple of people with this kind of hand. One is a business person, one is a psychologist, one is a carpenter, and I know even an artist with this shape hand. But most of these artists, they're more hands-on type of artist. So the down-to-earth hand on a smaller hand gives all those qualities. There's also the earth hand, which is quite thick, like this one. This is he has also got the square palm and the short fingers, but it's very thick. So this guy, he's a sculptor. He uses his hands. So he does a lot of creative things, and he does pottery. It's still not working. There you go. And okay, so it's an earth hand, and they're still the reliable, sensible, down to earth and patient kind of person, honest, helpful, all of those things, but they are a little bit less patient. They are definitely practical, and they're more level-headed, but this kind of hand is more likely to be or that of, say, a fisherman, a truck driver, the farmer, anyone that is into basically outdoor kind of career. Okay, so there's your earth practical hand. Square palm, short fingers. The lighting's pretty bad in here, isn't it? Okay, so the next one is a fire hand, and the fire hand is also called the intuitive hand. And this one here has slightly longer palm, but still got the short fingers. So whereas the earth hand, the practical hand, had the square palm, the fire hand has the much longer palm. So they are quite extroverted, these people. They're more extroverted than the earth hand. They are charismatic. Woo! There it goes again. I'm not really good at this, am I? They're energetic people. They're enthusiastic, impulsive, adventurous, quite competitive. They're a natural leader. They can be restless, though. They can get accident prone, and they might overindulge. That's a hand. If it's skinnier, it would more likely be the athletic type. That shape, though, the fire shape with the long hand and the short fingers, if it's flabby, we talked about flabby in the other first impressions video, like this one. See the long palm, short fingers, but everything is flabby and thick. Now, obviously, this person is overweight, but not all overweight people have flabby hands. I know several overweight people and their hands are not flabby because, I don't know, it's their personality in their hands. But this personality is a fire personality, and instead of having all those attributes of enthusiasm and adventure and everything and going out and doing it, these people tend to internalize all of that energy, and unfortunately they overeat, they oversleep, they overindulge in drugs or alcohol, they overspend with their money. So I haven't had many nice things to say about the flabby fire-shaped intuitive hand. They're a nice person. I'm sure they're a nice person, but if they're asking me for advice, I would recommend that they start walking more and do these adventurous things that they're thinking about. Instead of dreaming about it, go out and do those things that you love. And that's exactly what they should do. All right, moving on. Where are we? A little bit lost here. We've done the fire hands. Next one, we are doing the air hand. The air hand. Here we are. Square palm, long fingers, which is different from the earth hand, which had the square palm and short fingers. So here we have the practicality of the earth type, and the air hand has the long fingers. So that's also called the thinking hand. Later on in another video, I'm going to be talking about the finger lengths, etc., and different areas of the hand. So, but right now I'll tell you the longer fingers do represent a more thinking person. These people like variety and change. They are mentally active because the fingers represent the mental side. So they are more patient than the ones that have short fingers. They love details. They're usually into communication, technology, even music. They do like business and things like that. Okay, lastly, we are going to be talking about the water hand, which is the sensitive hand. This one particularly, you can see how long rectangle the hand is with long fingers. Is it a very clear picture? So we have a skinny, long hand. The whole hand looks long and thin when you compare it to. So these guys are imaginative, creative, compassionate. They like a quiet life. They're not the super outgoing type like the fire type with the shorter fingers. But if it's depending on other factors, with this hand, they can be quite impractical. Their imagination can get to the point where they are daydreamers, just have a lot of ideals, but not necessarily put it to good use. So they can be impractical depending on other features. We'll be talking about them in another video. The features will come from areas like the palm lines, the thumbs, fingertips, fingerprints, all sorts of things come into it. Ever noticed a lot of celebrities, actresses, particular female actresses, many of them have this shaped hand. They are not a hard worker in a sense of manual work, but they can be a hard worker when they are doing something creative, such as acting or singing or other artistic ventures where they can show their creative ability. So there's quite a lot of positive things to say about that. That's sometimes, like I said, other features of the hand can offset certain character traits or character meanings, and we'll be talking about them in future videos for sure. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. We've been through the 4 different hand shapes: the water hand, which was the sensitive hand; the air hand, which was the thinking hand; the fire-shaped hand, which is the intuitive hand; and the earth hand, which was the practical hand. And that concludes this lesson today. I hope you have subscribed and share with your friends, and I hope you've certainly learned something today. I look forward to doing my next one on Friday. I'll see you then. Bye.